Hi, my name is Behe, and today we're going to be talking about a game called Forager. Forager was created by a guy named Mariano Cavallero. Don't know if I'm saying that right. It was later on developed in an Argentine studio named Hot Frog, and then published by a company named Humble Bundle. You can now play Forager on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, iOS, Android, pretty much anything that you can get your hands on. So yeah, I have been playing Forager on stream for about a week now. Overall time invested into the game is about 10 hours. Nothing too insane. I think the official time was 9.6. But yeah, I played it all on stream. If you guys want, I'll put it right here, a little name of my Twitch channel if you guys would go give me a follow, or if you guys just want to tune in, you can always find me there. I do stream roughly 3-4 days a week. I do have a full-time job, so I try to get in wherever I can. It's usually nighttime, somewhere after 6 p.m. Pacific time, just depending, like I said, what time I get home from work and all that stuff like that. But yeah, I played about 10 hours. I got to roughly, let's call it mid-game, not end-game. I have looked at videos of end-game, and basically I just didn't get there because it was kind of an idle simulator. I didn't want to invest any more time. I do have a kind of a breakdown of how I'm going to rate the game in different type of categories. This does weigh a factor into the game, in my opinion. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on with the video. You guys can, be the judge of whatever you want. And yeah, if you could like, subscribe, all that stuff like that. And I will be putting my Twitch channel down in the description below. Thank you. So there are 6 categories that I'm basing the ranking off of, or the review. That is gameplay, graphics/artwork, audio, FPS optimization, in-game content, replay value, and at the very end of the video, I will give an overall score. I'm rating everything 1 out of 10, and then what I'll do is I'll take all of the values, add them all up, and then divide them by 6 so you can get a general overall score of how I feel about the game. Okay, so the gist and the gameplay of Forager is actually pretty simple. You start off on an island, you collect resources. The resources that you get will level you up. You buy, let's call them perks on each level up. I think there's 50 or 60 that let you pretty much progress throughout the game, just make better things. You take the resources that you get and you put them into things such as furnaces to get better items. So you'll put an iron bar and a gold bar to get a steel bar. Whenever you get the steel bar, you'll then combine it with gems and you'll get a royal steel bar, or whatever it's called. Now what you want to do is just go around the game, collect as many materials as you can, and upgrade things such as your base, your gear, anything along that line. The gameplay, like I said, is pretty simple. There's not much to it. It's pretty brain dead is what I'd like to call it. What I would do is I would go and craft all my stuff, and then I would go make 2 potions. One of them's like a dragon breath that throws little fireballs out, and a lightning strike, and then just go around and swing my pickaxe at things. The potions just make it go faster. If I didn't have those, it'd be extremely slow, extremely tedious. And yeah, as for the gameplay, I don't necessarily dislike it, but I don't like it. Majority of the time while I'm waiting for things to craft to upgrade things like my pickaxe or my sword, I was just waiting. It's kind of like just an idle simulator. So if you have everything set up to automate itself, like on furnaces, you can, let's say, hit coal and hit infinite, and then just hit craft. So every time you picked up wood and it either went to your inventory or your vault, it would just automatically craft that coal. There's also a perk in the game that lets you just pick up the stuff that you already crafted without actually having to go by and pick it up manually. But yeah, the gameplay is pretty simple. I'm going to give it an overall 6 out of 10. The very beginning was extremely slow. Later on, I was having a little bit more fun with it. But like I said, just the waiting for things to get crafted to go ahead and upgrade my thing was kind of a bummer. Graphics and artwork are actually probably one of my favorite things on this game. I think people think graphics wise you have to have some insane real life thing, but you got to remember that this is a pixel game essentially. It's a top down. The graphics are not going to be insane, but the artwork is good. I think the artwork of the different little characters around the map, the structures, the resources, the monsters, the animals, even the icons, everything looks good. I think that they're well drawn up, and for this, I'm actually going to give the game a solid 9 out of 10. Okay, let's start the audio off with just giving you guys the score right away. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. And the reason why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 is because one, the game sounds are not bad. The actual game sounds are not bad. So the things such as trees getting chopped down, stone getting hit, chicken getting killed, it all sounds like what you would expect of those actions. The gripe that I had was actually just hearing everything being crafted. When you're playing, it's just getting crafted and crafted and crafted, and you can be million miles away, but that sound will still come up. As for the music, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just meh. I've never heard anybody say, put that new Forager on or put on the Forager soundtrack like they do other games, you know what I mean? So with that, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. A majority of the time that I was playing, I actually just had all of the volume down because it was too much of an annoyance, and I would just listen to my own music. Okay, for FPS and optimization, I just wanted to start on this screen right here because it's very important if you're on PC. Whenever you first launch the game is extremely laggy. I don't have a bad PC. I don't have an insanely good PC. I have a relatively good PC that can run most games, pretty high graphics at max frame rate that I get. My monitor is a 144, so I tend to cap everything at 144. Whenever you first launch it, your frames are just dog shit. I can't explain it other than that. To go ahead and fix that on PC, go to your NVIDIA control panel. I'm not sure what it is for the other one, but if you have an NVIDIA graphics card or a graphics card that runs through NVIDIA control panel, open it up, go to Manage 3D Settings, go to Program Settings, go to Forager on through the list right here, and then go ahead and go to max frame rate and cap it at 60. I don't know why this works, but I literally had to Google why my frames were so terrible. Like they were like 18, 19. As for the score for this game, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. The only reason why I'm doing that is, don't get me wrong, I get the max frame rate that I can get on a PC, but I have played this game previously on console a long time ago, maybe about a year ago when I was going for achievements. I have an Xbox One, and whenever I had multiple droids out, my game would go down to like 5 FPS. I'm not sure if it's a thing on all consoles, probably not the newer generation consoles. I don't know how it is on Android or iPhone, but when I was on the console, it was just too laggy. I've looked at videos on Google, on YouTube, all that stuff like that whenever I was playing console, and they also said it was pretty bad. So if you're alienating, one half of the community through the console gameplay, I have to give it a 5 out of 10. Like I said, PC works perfectly fine, but console, it just doesn't. Okay, so the last two categories, I'm actually just going to lump them together. They're going to have two different values, but I'm just going to give them in the same little speech. Endgame content, replay value. Endgame content, there really is no endgame content. This game's pretty much solely focused on early game and mid game. Endgame content, yeah, you can move around your structures, you can have them build certain things to make it a little bit more efficient, but there's really not much past that. You have bosses in the game, but once you get strong enough, you just kind of kill them in like literally a nanosecond, and you can literally spawn like 50 of them at one time and just kill them all 50 at one time. So endgame content, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, which I think is fair. As for replay value, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. I don't think anybody that's ever progressed through this game one time, if they even got to the end, never went back and be like, you know what, I want to play that again. Because I don't think that there's something that you can do different. You'll go through the same steps every time you play the game. You'll build a furnace, you'll craft things, you'll get the items. There's not much that really changes. Now, before I go ahead and give you guys the overall score, I do want to give a pros and cons. Based off the previous scores, you guys can probably get a pretty good idea of where I'm headed with this video. But I thought it was important to list the pros and the cons do outweigh the pros, which reflect the score. For the pros, there isn't much to say besides the fact that it's simple, there's relaxed gameplay, and there's automation in the game. Automation in the game is probably the only thing that I actually enjoy. I liked enjoying not having to go to a furnace to keep on crafting things. Once I got a pretty good bearing on the game and I was able to get more supplies than the ones that were actually going into my furnaces and stuff like that, it was enjoyable in that sense. And not a lot of games actually do have that. I mean, would you rather go on Minecraft and hand plant or hand chop down a whole wheat field or get somebody to do it for you? Okay, now for the cons, there are far more and they're more specific compared to the pros. But for one, the start is extremely slow. I felt like my first 2 streams, I maybe bought like 3 islands, and I was just trying to get like a bearing on the actual game itself. The progression is extremely slow in the beginning. The middle, it starts to ramp up a little bit, and then the end game is just the end game. The second one is end game content. It's pretty easy. There isn't really much to it. There's not really much to go for. Forager is essentially an idle simulator game, and I don't like that aspect of it. I feel like a majority of the time I was waiting to get gear upgrades. I was just waiting for royal steel to be crafted. I was waiting for royal leather to be crafted. Another thing about this game is there is a bug where you walk into an invisible wall. I don't know if any of you guys have played it, but while I was playing, when I was running A or D, usually when I'm running left or right, my character would just stop and I'd have to let go of my D key and repress it in. I know my keyboard's not broken, so I'm not too sure what triggers it, but I just called it an invisible wall because I literally had to like walk backwards and then walk forward. The next one is that the price is too high. As the recording of this game of this video goes up, the game is currently at $20. Now, if you get it on sale for something less than $10, I would maybe justify buying it, but do not buy it at $20. I don't think you'll get your replay value. You won't get your money's worth or anything along those sense. The last one is there is no multiplayer. Multiplayer on this game, I think, would actually add another aspect to it that's actually enjoyable. However, looking up recent things on the actual game, the game is abandoned. There's no plans for a multiplayer. There was a plan for a multiplayer, but they actually backtracked and went completely back on it and just abandoned the game instead. So I'm not too sure what that is about, but there is no updates. There's nothing really coming. And that is the last one, is that the game's abandoned. So after all that, add up all the scores, divided by 6. My score for the game is a 5 out of 10. I don't think the game is bad, and I feel like the score is a little bit lower than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be around like a 6 or a 7. But to be honest with you, some of the scores, such as the replay value, everything like that, just kind of really brought it down. A 5 out of 10 for the game. Just to let you guys know, I do stream on Twitch. I'm going to plug it one more time. We'll put it right here on stream, on my video, what the name of my stream is. Could go ahead and give that a follow. I plan on trying to do these videos roughly once a week. And also, if you guys could go ahead and subscribe to my other YouTube channel called this. And basically, it's just all my extra stuff that I do on stream. I don't just play one game. I do like things like roguelites and rogue likes, which are 2 different game categories apparently. But things like Super Auto Pets and different little games like that, where there's just a specific run. Anytime I get wins or anything like that, I tend to just highlight the video on Twitch and then just download it. And I will be uploading it onto that channel. This channel will be mainly focused on things like game reviews, music reviews, stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys could, go ahead and like and subscribe and have a good rest of your day. Bye.